now that we've laid out these elements, how do we put them all together?
Yeah. This is pretty heavy, huh? Your head's about to explode.
Oh yeah, this ain't light, not my plight.
Well, just remember, he ain't heavy, he's my brother.
I love that.
So, yeah, and I want everyone else to understand, we went through a lot here, and hopefully you kept up, but let's summarize it right now, all right? The first thing you do, you calculate the revenue in the three streams. One-time charge, that's when you buy your product. If you have a recurring revenue stream, you fill that line out too.
Yeah, and you use the other rates, such as the retention rate, to input what goes into year 1, year 2, year 3.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, you know, the retention rate will start off with all those customers getting it in year 1. What do they pay in year 2? What do they pay in year 3? Well, that depends on how many customers you've retained.
That's right.
So you're getting the retention rate. The one-time charge will be how long is the product obsolete, and then how many buy new products from you.
Yeah.
And then we'll also have this other, you know, this lane that you can swim in called additional revenue streams. And that's something you're going to think more creatively about, but that's going to be something that you're going to understand your margins as well of that. And that leads us to the second part. So we've got the revenue here for those three items, using the retention rates and the obsolescent rates and the buying new product rates. And now we take that spreadsheet and we say, that's just revenue. What we really need is profit, because we're trying to figure out the lifetime value is all the profits we get from that.
That's right. That's the money that you keep.
Yes.
That's the one that matters.
Yeah. So we take all those revenue streams and we convert them into, you know, profit created by them, gross margin, by the rates of each one of those.
So when you know the revenue and you know the gross margin, you'll know the profit.
Exactly.
Cool.
And now we have that spreadsheet made out over 5 years, as we talked about. We're only doing 5 years. Your business might go well beyond that, but we talked the reasons why we're only doing 5. And now we have something that we can work with. Now we're going to go into using the cost of capital to compare apples to apples. We're going to bring it all back into today's dollars, because as we move forward, when we do cost of customer acquisition, we're going to be using today's dollars.
Yeah.
So that's when we take the cost of capital, we take what's in year 2, year 3, year 4, and year 5, and we bring all that back into today's dollars, discounting it by our cost of capital. And that's what we call a net present value calculation. And I think it's important for the audience to understand that, you know, you at MIT X and edX are going to help them with spreadsheets, correct?
Absolutely. What we want to do, I think that's the right thing to do, because this is complex and you need help on that front. We're going to create some sample spreadsheets for you that you can actually play with, so input different numbers, see what changes, and also use it as a foundation for developing your own LTV at your startup. So I'll be available as part of the discussion as well.
And I think the other thing is net present value is not a concept we made up here. It's a well-known concept, and we can also point our listeners to, our students, to other resources that can explain to them net present value calculations.
Absolutely, and there'll be students among us who have studied finances. You know, NPV is the foundation of finance. But for those for whom this is new, and that's totally fine, we all do different things, we learn different things. We just have to all keep going in the same direction. And we'll help you out by providing links to resources.
It reminds me of, in our class, we build up teams, and they're technical people and they're business people on the teams. And I'll never forget it. One person, you know, one of the engineers saying, wow, you know, you calculating this NPV, this is really amazing stuff. And the business person looking at him going, this isn't amazing, this is really easy. What you do is really hard. The engineering's really hard. And you can just see people have different expertise. And that's why, you know, you want to find other people, because what might be hard to you is easy to them. And what's, you know, hard for them is easy for you.
That's why teams are so important for entrepreneurship.
Yes. So, in summary, I think LTV is a very important element here of the unit economics. What is that customer worth to us? Because now we're going to start moving forward to see whether that number is good enough when we compare it to our cost of customer acquisition.
And I think that puts us in a position to start looking at it through the eyes of entrepreneurs.
Absolutely.
So Let's welcome Dan and Alessandra from Human.